That's firmly in place now. It's fixed.
What is?
The cross. I'll have to see if I can stand in front of it.
He's going to stand in front of it.
Yes, ma'am. I have a list, but let me see if it's on.
No. I'm asking you to. It's also for my aunt, and I'm just asking if you can read her name too.
Okay, so it's this name. Right. I don't have that on the list.
No, you don't.
Right.
But I'm just asking you.
Oh, okay. So this is the name that I need to.
Please.
Right. I don't usually do this when we're online because I don't. Well, you know, just for people's security, I guess. Like do the relationship.
You don't do the relationship.
Yeah, I don't usually.
That's fine.
Just so.
But if you just say her name.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Yes, we will begin this evening with page 13, middle of the page. We will start with Shabbat HaMalka. Achama merosha ilanot nistalka bo v'netze likrat Shabbat HaMalka hinehi yoredet hakadosha barucha ve'ima malachim tzeva shalom u'mnucha Boi, boi, Amalka. Boi, boi, Akala. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShalom. We now turn to page 16. For Psalm 96. Yainai na nai nai yanai na nai nai yanai na nai nai yanai nai 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 yanai na nai nai yanai na nai nai yanai na nai nai yanai nai 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 yanai na nai nai yanai nai 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 yanai na nai nai yanai nai 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 Nai, 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 ya nai, 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 ya nai, 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 ya nai, 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 shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, baruchu shemo, pasru miyom leyom yeshuato, Sapru vagoyim kevodo bechol amim niflehotav ki gadol Adonai umulal meod norahu al kol Elohim ay ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim V'Adonai shamayim asa hod ve'hadar lefanav hoz ve'tiferet b'mikdasho havu l'Adonai mishpechot amim havu l'Adonai kavod v'hoz havu l'Adonai kevod shemo seu mincha uvou ובחצרותיו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ. אמרו הגויים, אדוני מלך, אף תיכון תבל בל תימות. ידין עמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו. יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל הצייר לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו. nay 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 nay. Nay, 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 yay, nay, 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 yay, nay, 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 yay, nay, 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 nay. We now turn to page 20 and rise for Psalm 29. מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני בני אלים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש. כל אדוני על המים, אל הכבוד הרים, אדוני על מים רבים. כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון. וירקידם כמו עגל לבנון בסריון, כמו בן רעמים. כל אדוני חוצב להבות אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש. כל אדוני יחולל איילות, ויחשוף יערות, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. You may be seated. And we will turn to page 21 and sing the first two stanzas on page 21 and the last two stanzas on page 22. Last two paragraphs. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Next page. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי. על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. You may be seated. We'll continue on page 23. We'll read in the English, Psalm 92, responsively. A song for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God, to affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. How vast your works, Adonai! Your designs are beyond our grasp. The thoughtless cannot comprehend. The foolish cannot fathom this. The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble. But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers. The righteous flourish like the palm tree. They grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant to proclaim, Adonai is just, my rock in whom there is no flaw. And we will sing the last four lines in the Hebrew, still on page 23. Tzadik amar yifrach, kerez balavanon yizke shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim berananim yiu leagid ki yashar Adonai tsuri tsuri velo avalatamo. We'll turn to page 24, and again we'll read in the English. Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, crowned with splendor. Adonai reigns, robed in strength. Your kingdom stands from earliest time. You are eternal. The rivers may rise and rage. The waters may pound and pulsate. The floods may swirl and storm, yet above the crash of the sea and its mighty breakers is Adonai our God supreme. Your decrees, Adonai, never fail. Holiness befits your house for eternity. Eidotechanenu me'od lebetecha na'ave kodesh, Adonai leorech yamim. Now ask all mourners and those observing yahrzeit to please rise and join me in the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alama divra kirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei kudsha brichu lehela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alama v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. It is at this time between Kabbalat Shabbat and the evening service, the Ma'ariv service, that we share Todaot, those things that we may be particularly grateful for in the last week, or maybe something we're looking forward to. Does anybody want to start it off? Or are you going to make me start it off again? Oh, wait. There you go.
I'm very grateful for having my wonderful wife, who's been married to me for 65 years.
Wow. Almost 66, January 66.
We're 65. You don't get credit 66 till it comes.
Okay, so does that make her a saint?
Oh, she's
Saintess, okay. I don't think there's such a thing, but anyone else want to share? Yes.
Off to California with my sister, her family, and my 2 sons.
Wonderful. Is it a family gathering for something, a simcha, or? Yeah, what's the simcha?
My niece and nephew's 30th birthday.
Oh, an engagement. Oh, that's a biggie. Anybody else back here? No? Yes.
I am so thankful for so many things, I don't even know where to begin. But all I'll say is that I feel so blessed that I have the most wonderful family, friends, and neighbors in the whole world.
Wonderful. That is something to be thankful for. Just before I left to come to services, I got a call from my daughter's boyfriend, and he was asking for our blessing for Maris and my blessing for him to ask her to marry him. So that was, yeah. Well, it's not a done deal yet, but he is, old school. He's laying the groundwork. He's already spoken to my 15-year-old grandson. So, yeah, he's yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So we're excited about that. So everyone who shared, or if you were too bashful to share, I'm sure everybody has something they're grateful for this past week. Please rise and join me in Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, who rules the universe, granting us life, sustaining us, and allowing us to reach this day. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. And next we will, before we do a Mishibarach for our ill amongst us, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. You may notice that there's all kinds of like Christmas ornaments, and there is a cross behind me and a star. That's because we are renting in a church. Now, normally that is not there, so they brought it out for Christmas. And last week we were able to move it, but this week it's like it's lighted and all this other kind of stuff, so we can't really move it. So just so you know, this is a conservative congregation, conservative Judaism, and it's not a Jews for Jesus or anything like that. We're just dealing with our hosts. So now we will turn to the back of our Siddur, where you can find Debbie Friedman's Mishibarach, and then I will ask for names after the first paragraph, and then we'll finish it after we have recited all of our names. Mishibarach Avotenu Mikor Bracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Anybody have names? Rita Brown. Bob Gamson. William Farmer. Judy Ayers. Teresa Calla. Audrey Dash. Ross Dutton. Marlene Gunn. Michelle Gurovich. Murray Schaffner. Carlene Schreck. Leslie Schulsinger. Katrina Williams. Mona Bachov. Rob Seltzer. Leibel Ben Margalit. Liba Shlomit Rachel Bat Margalit. Feivel Shlomo Ben Devora. Israel Ben Etel. And Abraham Ben Binyamin. Misheberach imotenu Mekor bracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We now turn to page 28 for the beginning of Kriyat Shema, which begins with Baruch Hu. Please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We're going to read in the English the first blessing. So over in the English. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, who rules the universe. Your word bringing the evening dusk. You opened with wisdom the gates of dawn, designed the day with wondrous skill, set out the succession of seasons, and arranged the stars in the sky according to your will. Adonai Tzvaot, you create day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praised are you, Adonai, for each evening's dusk. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamahariv Haravim. Page 29, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amchavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokveinu v'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. V'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 30, Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol vavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol miodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alavavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shokpecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha v'hayim. We'll read quietly the second paragraph and join together again on the third paragraph on the next page. Page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam v'natanu al tzitzit hakanaf batil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit Uritem oto, uzchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai, va'asitem otam, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם, באמונה כל זו כתובים. Page 32, the 2 lines from the bottom of the first paragraph. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה ובני ישראל לחנו שירה, בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה. זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Page 33, we'll read together in the English. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace, and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all God's people Israel, and over Jerusalem. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל Yerushalayim. We rise and turn to page 34 for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'alama divra kirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'imru amen. Yesh me Rabba mivarach, le'alam ul'alamei alamaya yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal, shmeir kudsha brichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alama, v'imru amen. We continue quietly with the Ma'ariv Amidah, beginning on page 35b and ending on page 38. When you have completed your devotion, you may be seated. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, V'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Page 47. We now recite what is commonly referred to as a pseudo repetition because it's an evening service. We don't actually repeat the the Amidah as we would in the daytime, at least out loud. But Vayachulu and page 47 serve as that kind of a taste of the Amidah. So please rise, turn to page 47 for Vayachulu. Vaychulu hashamayim ve'haaretz v'chol tzvam vaychal Elohim bayom hashvi malachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi mikol malachto asher asa Vayavarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi, Vaykadesh oto, Kivo Shabbat mikol melachto, Asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Konei Shamayim v'Aretz, Magen Avot bidvaro, Mechaye metim b'mamaro, Ha'el HaKadosh she'ein kamo, Hameniach le'amo, B'yom Shabbat kodsho, Kivam ratza le'aniach lahem, Kivam ratza le'aniach lahem, Lefanav navod bira v'fachad, v'nodei lishmo b'chol yom tamid, me'on habrachot, el haodaot, Adon Shalom, Mekadesh HaShabbat, Umvarech Shavi, Umeniach B'Kedusha, Le'amedu Shnei Oneg, Zecher, Lema'aseh, V'Reishit. We turn to page 48 and recite in the English together. Our God and God of our ancestors, find favor in our Shabbat rest. Instill in us the holiness of your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness, and gladden us with your triumph. Cleanse our hearts so that we might serve you faithfully, lovingly and willingly. Adonai, our God, grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, so that the people Israel, who hallow your name, will always find rest on this day. Praised are you, Adonai, who hallows Shabbat. V'yanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu, b'ahava v'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha, v'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh HaShabbat. You may be seated. We continue with Kaddish Shalem, middle of page 48. Yitkaral v'yikara shemei rabba, b'alma divra kirute, v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon, v'mechon, v'chayedicho be'Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach, le'alam u'lalamei alamaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei rekutsha b'richu le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran b'alma v'imru Amen. Titkabal tzolotahon uva'utahon d'chol Yisrael kodam avohon d'vishmaya v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. So this week we read from the Parsha Vayeshev. And in this Torah portion, Jacob favors Joseph. And this angers Joseph's brothers. Can you blame them? Joseph has dreams in which he predicts reigning over his brothers, and he shares it with them, provoking them further. They decide to sell Joseph into slavery in Egypt. Skipping ahead, Tamar disguises herself as a prostitute and sleeps with her father-in-law, Judah. Yeah. Well, when you know why, that becomes a little clearer. In Egypt, the wife of Joseph's owner tries to seduce Joseph, and when he rejects her, she accuses him of trying to rape her, and she is sent to prison. In prison, Pharaoh's baker and butler have dreams, and Joseph interprets them correctly. So, I just gave you a synopsis. We're going to fill in a few details with a little trivia quiz. Okay? So, let's start out light. How old was Joseph when he went out to check on his brothers? So Joseph, or I should say, Jacob asked Joseph to go spy on his brothers. Okay, how old was Joseph? 14? Okay, everybody, you guys are close. You're getting close. He was 17. 17, right. Why did Jacob love Joseph more than his brothers? Why did he favor him? What does the Torah say is the reason? And then we can extrapolate from there. It's a tricky question, right? Who was his mother? Who was Joseph's mother? Remember from last week? Rachel, right? Right, and Rachel was the wife that he loved. That's right. Okay, but is that the answer? Well, that may have been a factor, but what the Torah says is Jacob liked Joseph better because he was the son of his old age. Okay? Why does that seem a little odd? Say what? He was a precious child, okay? But why does why, when Jacob says, okay, that he was the son of his old age, why is that weird? Maybe, yeah, maybe so. But doesn't he have another brother that's younger than him? Yeah, sure. No, he's already born. He's already, yeah. Rachel's had 2 sons now. Yeah. So, yeah. Seems a little weird, right? But we can, from everything else that has happened, we can extrapolate that. You know, it was his favorite because it was the miracle child, right? It was the child that Rachel couldn't have. She'd been barren for years, right? But still, I guess it's easier to have a favorite child when you've got 12 of them, or 13 of them actually, right? So I guess we shouldn't judge too harshly. So can anybody remember Joseph's 2 dreams? Those are the Pharaoh's dreams you're talking about. Say what? No? Well, no, that's Jacob's dream. Okay, all right, well, that's okay. It gets confusing. What? Right. Well, okay. So the first dream was that there would be 11 sheaves, right? And there was one other sheaf that was Jacob, and all the other sheaves bowed down to him. And he actually told his brothers this, which was great. I think eventually he learns his lesson, not to speak everything he knows. And the second dream, in the second dream, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bow down to him. Okay? So now the next question is, what does Jacob say to Joseph when he tells him this last dream about the stars and the sun and the moon? And why is it odd that what he says? So what he says is, do you expect your mother, father, and brothers to bow down to you? That's what Jacob says to him. What's odd about that statement? I think that's already obvious from the dream, right? But his father is interpreting, right? And what he's interpreting is that the sun and the moon are he and Rachel, right? And the 11 stars are his brothers, right? But what's odd is Rachel's dead already. Right? She died in the last week's parsha. Okay? So, well, it's weird. It's just weird. So that's I'm not offering an explanation. I'm just saying that it's weird that he put it that way. So Joseph sets out well, no, I won't ask that question because that one's a little. When the brothers decided to kill Joseph, which brother spoke first against killing him? Who was the oldest? Well, who was? Starts with a resh. Reuben. Right? Reuben. Yeah. He was the first to say, no, we can't kill him. Okay? And then, so Reuben says, no, we can't kill him. And then the other brothers conspire to sell him to the Ishmaelites. All right? So then they go back to the cave that they left him in, and they realize, oh, the Midianites had already found him. He was probably calling, help, help. So the Midianites had already found him, and they sold him to the Ishmaelites, who were headed to Egypt. Okay, that's how he ends up in Egypt. Okay? So the brothers conspired to make some money off the deal, and they failed. That's well, they get their comeuppance, later on anyway. So, yeah. Does anybody remember the price of Joseph's head as a slave? 20 pieces of silver. 20 pieces of. Yeah. Who was the second brother that argues against killing him, that came up with the idea of selling him to slavery? It was Judah. Okay? And these brothers will come up again when they meet Joseph in Egypt, unbeknownst to them. So Judah's two of his three sons, were killed by God. And he wanted his daughter-in-law to wait for his third son to grow up and marry his third son. Okay? What was the third son's name? Shelah. Okay? So she married the oldest son. He died of natural causes. Then she was given to his second older brother, because that was the custom then, and he died of natural causes or an accident or something. And then so then Judah promised Tamar, okay, his daughter-in-law, that she could marry Shelah when he was old enough. Okay? So why did Tamar seduce Judah in the guise of a harlot? No, quite. But it's to the contrary, Judah went back on his word because he was afraid he was going to lose his third son. He thought, okay, so he held back. And so she, in honor of her first husband, because neither of her first two husbands did she have children with, so she still didn't have any children to carry on the line of her first husband. Okay, which is why Shelah was supposed to be hers, right? To carry on the. Okay, so I'll fix him. And he didn't know who she was because she was veiled, right? So she made him promise for payment, because to leave him 3 items. Do you remember what the 3 items were? Yeah. His signet, okay, which is a ring, right? His cord and his staff. So she had all these 3 things. So then, when she became pregnant, and now she was going to be. It became known to Judah that she was pregnant. Okay, and now he wanted to have her excommunicated because she got pregnant out of wedlock, and that's when she presented these 3 things to him, and he said, "Okay, I'm more in the wrong than she is," and so everything turned out okay. But that's some spicy stuff in the Torah, people. While Joseph was in jail in Egypt, he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's butler and baker. in the end, one was restored to his former position, which is part of the dream that he interpreted, and one was hanged, which was also part of the, which one was restored to their former position? You do have a 50-50 shot, yes. The butler, or the cup holder or whatever, was restored to his original. Okay, the baker was. Yeah, and Jacob, of course, stays in jail because the cup holder forgot about Joseph. I don't know why people have a propensity for forgetting about Jacob or about Joseph, but that's what happened. Well, in jail, he's so next week we continue the story. It gets even more interesting. All this intrigue. There's a lot of intrigue in the Torah. It's fascinating. Even the heroes. I mean, Judah, one of the good guys, right? He still failed his daughter-in-law. So we will now turn to Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We will now turn to page 49 for Kiddush. And yes. Tom's on top of it. Thank you, Tom. Please rise and turn to page 49 for Kiddush. Bereshut Chaverai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchalatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 51 for Aleinu. Oh, yes, no, after, yes. Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim veyoser haaretz ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efesulato, Kakatov Betorato, Viadata Hayom Vahashevota Elvavecha, Ki Adonai Hua Elohim, Bashamayim Imal, Vialaretz, Mitachat Einod, Einod. Okay, Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz, bayom ha'u yeh Adonai echad, ushmo echad, ushmo echad. You may be seated. This week, we commemorate the yard sites of Jacqueline Oster, Irving Greenwald, and Jeanette Lack. May the faith that binds us to our loved ones be a continuing source of comfort as we invite those who mourn and those reciting, observing yard site, to praise God's name with the words of the Kaddish on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, B'alama divara kirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'l'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei kudsha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, da'amiran b'alama v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'asei shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. So this week we have a couple of announcements, very important. First thing, we are celebrating Mark Lichtenstein's birthday tomorrow. We have Torah readers ready. It's really important that we have a minyan. So if you're really feeling like you need to get a mitzvah out of your system, coming tomorrow morning will really do it, so that we have a minyan and we can listen to Mark chant Torah along with Mark, and we get to have a full Torah service and we get to eat afterwards. So it should be wonderful. So remember back during the high holidays, I said, this is going to be hard work for all of us. So even if you weren't planning on coming tomorrow, please do. We'd love to see you, and you'll be performing a mitzvah for your community. Also, Sunday morning on Zoom at it's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is the annual congregational meeting which will involve some voting and some information. And so please do your community duty there too, and make sure you represent your family at the community meeting, at the congregational meeting. And then, just for fun, come on Monday night for our Hanukkah party, which starts at 6:30 p.m. Don't be late or you'll miss the food. So, 6:30 p.m. Hanukkah party. Bring your Chanukiah and 3 candles, right? Because it'll be the second night. We will have ways to light. Yes. Okay. But if you have a way to light, you can bring it with you. It's fine. Okay, so I think we will conclude on page 50. Did I cover everything, Tom? Yeah, okay. Good. Page 54, we will conclude with Adon Olam. Let's see. Okay, I know Morris likes this one, so we're going to do this one. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasali, V'chefza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, Lehamshilo Lehachbira Adon Olam, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzorchev li B'yetzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, Yumanos li, Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon. Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'ado Avkid Ruchi, V'et Tishan V'a'ira Adon Olam, V'imruchi Geviyati, Adon Nali V'lo Ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, V'chefza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.